In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website, and if you want to engage live in this show, you got to go follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Living Low Carb Man, LIVIN LOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live, just like Coach Daria and Victoria. And was it Gunch's mom and Bonnie Lene? So many people are here right now engaging in Jimmy Rants. So thank you guys for being here. We also simulcast over here on Facebook Live. So thanks to all my Facebook Livers for watching this simulcast of Jimmy Rants. And appreciate you guys being here today. If you missed the live over on Instagram Live, be sure to go and watch it on replay. You get 24 hours to do that. So go watch the replay. But if you missed the replay on Instagram, we do put all the past episodes up on YouTube. Type in a keyword Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. Finally, you can get the best of the best moments of this here show in podcast form. And lately, we've been airing some of these Jimmy Rants as podcasts on the Living La Vida Low Carb show while I've been traveling. So go check it out, you guys, over on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher, and you can get all of these links today, you guys, at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants is some good news for fans of ketogenic diets, because you've heard me rail against some of the mainstream health type of organizations out there, groups like the American Heart Association, the American Diabetes Association, the American Medical Association. There's so many groups out there that have had their head in the sand when it comes to nutritional health and when it comes to acknowledging the benefits that come from a well-formulated, real foods-based, low-carb, moderate protein, high-fat ketogenic diet. You have all of these kind of nutritional health and general health groups out there that fail to recognize the value that comes from carbohydrate restriction and specifically ketogenic diets until now. Guys, this is huge. I want you to get this loud and clear, because there is a group called the American Nutrition Association, the ANA. If you're not familiar with the American Nutrition Association, they are the big boy when it comes to nutrition and education in America. Huge group. And they now are offering and introducing a brand new novel keto training program. It's called Ketogenic Nutrition Training Program, and it's offered as an addendum to the education from the American Nutrition Association. Guys, this is historic. This is the first time any major nutritional health and general health group has come out and said, we see the value of low-carb diets. We see the value of ketogenic to the point that we want to offer training on this way of eating for the treatment of and the use in various conditions in the body. This is awesome, guys. I hope you are sensing the thrill in my voice, because we have been wanting this kind of thing to happen from groups like the American Diabetes Association especially, which they have acknowledged that low-carb diets can be a part of a carbohydrate restriction, could be a part of a controlling blood sugar and insulin program for a type 2 diabetic, but never have we seen a group actually outline a program that you could go through and learn all about ketogenic diets. So if you're just joining us either here on Instagram Live or Facebook Live, we have history happening in the making right now because the American Nutrition Association has finally become the very first major mainstream nutritional health kind of teaching agency to teach a course on ketogenic diets. I cannot underscore how huge this is. And especially someone like myself who's kind of observed this space for the past 15 years, if you'd have told me 15 years ago that this would happen, I would have laughed because there's no way it would have happened. Even as soon ago as 5 years ago, when I wrote Keto Clarity, this was unheard of. So let me go over a little bit about what this ketogenic nutrition training program is all about. So the program overview, the overall objective of this program is to train professionals on the appropriate, safe, and effective therapeutic use of ketogenic nutrition to improve clinical outcomes in a broad range of chronic metabolic conditions. By translating cutting-edge nutrition science research into practice, this program will, number one, provide gold standard training for nutrition and other healthcare professionals on the optimal use of a ketogenic nutritional plan, including when it is of benefit and when it might be contraindicated. Number two, raise awareness of the benefits of ketogenic nutrition when implemented under the direction of a trained healthcare practitioner. So guys, when I wrote my book Keto Clarity 5 years ago, I was outlining all of the things we had like really strong evidence for, some emerging areas of science that we have pretty good scientific evidence for, and then things that we know anecdotally the ketogenic diets helped with, but we really didn't have a lot of solid science. Now they're assimilating all of that information and now teaching it to healthcare providers so that then they can pass that along to their patients. This is huge. It's huge. I just don't know how else to say it. So they note in here that the ketogenic diet, they call KD, is a growing area of nutrition science research and is of public interest, but very few vetted science-based training programs for healthcare practitioners currently exist on how to properly implement a ketogenic diet. The ANA has developed this online program to provide the robust standards needed to enable practitioners to best determine when ketogenic nutrition is indicated and how to implement it to personalize intervention and optimize outcomes. I'm going to reach out to them because I would like to take the course. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not someone who would necessarily use this for the purposes of treating any patient. But I think as a keto advocate and someone who literally wrote the book on keto, it would be fascinating for me to go through this course. So I'm going to reach out to them, you guys, see if they would do this. Obviously, I would do it in exchange for giving them some publicity, which I'm doing today. But I'm really curious. And I know what's in your head, even before you're asking it. I know what you're thinking. Oh, but are they really going to share what nutritional ketosis is about? Or are they going to put their own little conventional wisdom spin on it? Hang tight. I'm going to get to what's in here in a minute. But I just wanted to introduce you guys that this is huge. So let's look at what the program is about. So in the program description, they have 2 modules that start. So modules 1 and 2 introduce what ketogenic nutrition is. They address the history of the ketogenic diet, which, you know, if you've read my books, 1921 was when the term ketogenic was introduced. It was primarily a way to treat epilepsy, but then, and what's really interesting is that's how it started. So a lot of critics of keto today say, oh, it's only for epileptic children. No, that's how it started. What it started the ball rolling on was it got more people interested in, okay, if it helps with epilepsy, what else can it help with? So a lot of the neurodegenerative and neurological type of conditions that get better with keto is what people are looking into. And now we're looking at a lot of metabolic diseases, including cancer, that it's helping with as well. So, it's kind of funny, the criticism, oh, it's only for epilepsy. I'm like, that's what it started with, but it's moved into so many different areas since then. We also help you understand keto metabolism and the general principles of dietary formulation. In other words, the fat, the carbs, and the protein, and how to manipulate those to produce ketones. In Module 3, they provide learners with the tools to assess, implement, and monitor a keto diet. So for practitioners, that'll be real important, because when you go keto, there are certain things that happen, especially if someone's a type 2 diabetic, where medications have to be adjusted very quickly, insulin has to be changed, those kinds of things. And it's funny, we have a friend who has a friend in her life that is a type 2 diabetic, and the type 2 diabetic doesn't want to do anything to try to change things and would rather just take the medication, and even to the point of taking insulin as a type 2 diabetic. And I'm going, you don't have to do that. So if that person decided to go keto, they would see a lot of benefit. So that's what they learn in Module 3. Modules 4 through 6 provides learners with the science to support the application of the ketogenic diet. So here are all the health conditions that they're teaching about that a ketogenic diet will help with. Disorders of insulin regulation, which, guys, that goes well beyond diabetes. Obviously, diabetes is a big one, but insulin dysregulation, or insulin regulation, disorders of insulin regulation, that pretty much runs the gamut of just about every chronic disease that there is. So that's interesting. Cancer, which we talked about, and then neurological disorders, which epilepsy is only one, controlling the seizures in epilepsy. They're looking at it for Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and dementia and some of these other conditions. So they're going to teach them that in the module. All right, so the program structure, and again, if you're just joining us, the American Nutrition Association has introduced the very first ketogenic nutrition training program. This is the largest kind of nutrition education group in America, and they are specifically targeting healthcare professionals that want to learn more about keto, because we always complain, our doctor doesn't know anything about keto. I wish they knew more about this ketogenic diet that I'm doing. Now they have the opportunity to add this on to their education to learn what a ketogenic diet, a well-formulated ketogenic diet could do for their patients. It's pretty awesome stuff, right? So in the program structure, learners can choose between two distinct pathways of learning. One is a foundational ketogenic nutrition course. It requires completion of the first two modules, providing the basic concepts to enable health coaches and nutritionists to adequately counsel clients for whom a ketogenic diet has been prescribed by a licensed healthcare provider. There are no prerequisites required, although a background in biochemistry or basic science is highly recommended. Now, that foundational ketogenic nutrition pretty much open to anybody to get the first two modules. That's $295. So if you want to get this certification, so to speak, I'm trying to see, it's a training program. I'm not sure they give you any kind of certification or whatever. I would think they would give you some kind of a certificate of completion if you go through this. But that's the one. The second one is Advanced Ketogenic Nutrition. This course requires you to complete all 6 modules. It is intended for those individuals who have a strong background in nutrition assessment, nutrition therapy, and biochemistry. So my wife is a nutritional therapy practitioner, Christine. She could go through this and get this education. It's designed for those nutritionists as well as licensed healthcare practitioners with nutrition in their legal scope of practice. Now, that Advanced Ketogenic Nutrition course is $695. So you get all 6 of those modules. This advanced training course is a required component for the Certified Ketogenic Nutrition Specialist. So here's the letters. If you do the advanced one, you get to add after your name CKNS. So it's a new credential that's being formed by the American Nutrition Association. After the successful completion of the course, individuals will be eligible to apply for the Certified Ketogenic Nutrition Specialist examination, which would give them the credential. So you go through the whole course, you go through all 6 of the modules, you pay the $695 for the advanced ketogenic nutrition, and then they give you a test to see what you learned. For funsies, I wish I could take the test without going through the modules, just to see how I do. I'm sure there's a lot of things about ketogenic diets I don't know about that I could learn, obviously, through this course. But just for funsies, it would be kind of fun to skip to the end to see if I know enough about keto to pass that exam to get those letters. That would be funny. All right, so the general module format, each module in your ketogenic nutrition training program will provide you with access to the online learning management system so you can learn at your own pace. So it's self-guided, guys. You don't have to show up to any specific classes at any specific time. You just go, you just do it. Digital manual, which you can download, which, you know, it's 2019, so download digital manuals is pretty easy to a PDF reader or Kindle reader. I'm sure you can see all of the manuals that way. Access to a set of supplemental reading, including journal articles, textbook references, blogs, and videos. I love this because it's one thing just to teach, but if you go and actually take them to journal articles that support what's being taught, that's really cool. Number 4, additional readings for those wanting to have a deeper dive into any of the topics covered. So let's say they go into the inflammation lowering effects of ketosis. Well, then maybe they provide some kind of a video or other books and other things that would reinforce what you learned. That's cool. PPT to provide overview and reinforce key learning concepts presented in the digital manual. Practitioner and patient handouts and tools as applicable, case studies as applicable, that's really big, and a quiz to allow you to test your learning before you proceed to the next module. And then finally, 5 continuing education credits. So those are called CEs. So if you are a medical professional, they call them CMEs, continuing medical education. Christine earns CEs all the time as a nutritional therapy practitioner. So again, she would qualify for that. So the approximate learning time total is 10 to 12 hours per module. So if you have 6 modules, you're looking at about 60 to 72 hours worth of learning. And again, at your own pace. If you joined us late, this is really good news for fans of ketogenic diets, because the American Nutrition Association has now offered the very first ketogenic training program. They call it Ketogenic Nutrition Training Program. It's now available as an online course that you can go at your own pace, and you can do a foundational ketogenic nutrition if you're a health coach and you want to get foundational principles of keto and learn about it. They offer that. They also have an advanced ketogenic nutrition where you can actually get a credential after your name when you go through the course, certified Ketogenic Nutrition Specialist, CKNS. And the reason this is huge is this is the first major nutritional or health organization that's out there that's offering a course in keto. Huge, you guys. Unheard of. And I'm wondering if this becomes very successful, will the American Diabetes Association follow, or maybe some others? This is really, really cool. So you might be wondering, okay, who is behind this development of this ketogenic nutrition program from the American Nutrition Association? Check out the people who helped develop this program. So the senior scientific editor, Dr. Jeff Volek. You heard of Dr. Jeff Volek? Yeah, he's the preeminent researcher in the field of ketogenesis. He developed this program, guys. You feeling a little better about this now? I know a lot of you were skeptical. Oh, I'm sure they're going to ruin it. Dr. Jeff Volek is the man who has both a PhD and an RD behind his name, along with tons and tons of research into ketogenic diets. He was keto, really keto, when keto wasn't cool. I remember when I first started attending various obesity conferences, Dr. Volek was one of the premier speakers out there. He was kind of rising at the time. Now he's the preeminent researcher in the field of ketogenesis. Him and Dr. Dominique D'Agostino and different ones around the country. Huge that he is the program's senior scientific editor. They also have a scientific editor. I do not know who this person is, but he's also from Ohio State University, just like Dr. Volek. Parker Hyde, a PhD. So I'm assuming Parker is a protege of Dr. Jeff Volek. So contributing authors, listen to these names. You may know some of them if you've listened to my show, the Live in La Vida Low Carb Show. You may have heard of some of these people before, but Miriam Kalamian, she is a ketogenic cancer educator. She wrote a book called Keto for Cancer, so go find her on the Live in La Vida Low Carb Show. I've interviewed her a few times before. Sweetheart of a lady as well, and so she knows her stuff, and she's helped many a cancer patient walk through the process of having cancer and trying to use ketogenic diets to help with that. The next person is Romilly Hodges. I don't know who that is, but Romilly was the co-author of Methylation Diet and Lifestyle. And then the last name on the contributing authors list is Amy Berger. So I do know Amy very well. She wrote a book about Alzheimer's called The Alzheimer's Antidote. She's going to be on the Low Carb Cruise next weekend when we set sail. And Amy is a whiz at all of the information when it comes to keto for a variety of things. Now, as far as the contributing reviewers go, again, it's a who's who in the world of keto. Angela Poff, if you don't know who Dr. Angela Poff is, she's out of the University of South Florida. She helps out Dr. Dominique D'Agostino in his research lab. So she's one of the preeminent people out there trying to spread research about ketogenic diets. Dr. David Perlmutter, who you know from the Brain Maker, he's also on this contributing reviewers. Kara Fitzgerald, I do not know who that is, but that's a naturopath who's the author of Case Studies in Integrative and Functional Medicine. She also is a contributing author for Textbook for Functional Medicine. And then finally, Dr. Ted Naiman, who has a blog called Burn Fat, Not Sugar. So all creme de la creme of people who understand the value of ketogenic diets. You feel a little bit better about this program? Because the first thing I thought of when I saw the ANA was doing a ketogenic training program is, oh boy, they're going to figure out a way to mess it up. They got the top people. Really proud of them for doing that. So very quickly, going to go over the various modules. Module 1, ketone metabolism and historical clinical evidence. They give you an overview of ketone terminology, kind of like acetoacetate, beta-hydroxybutyrate, that kind of thing. Metabolism from a carbohydrate restricted perspective, because it is different than from a high carb diet. And then the history of the ketogenic diet. So that's module 1. Module 2, how to formulate a ketogenic nutrition plan. And so they say there is no one diet that fits all. So that's the myth of a single diet for everyone. Ketogenic diet formulation. So they talk about manipulating the various macronutrients in order to make someone keto. Food list. So you see what the appropriate foods are to be consuming for a ketogenic diet. The variations on ketogenic diets. So some people will be able to tolerate more carbs. Other people will be able to tolerate more protein. Other people will need more fat. So they kind of show you the different variations on ketogenic. And then finally, troubleshooting and other common concerns. So it's pretty well-rounded the way that they're educating about how to formulate a good ketogenic plan. So that's the first 2 modules that you get in the basic plan. Now, if you do the advanced course, they add these other 4 modules. Module 3, they show you how to get a baseline assessment, contraindications to people that might not need to go on a ketogenic diet, how to implement a ketogenic diet, and then finally monitoring and testing in the midst of keto. So again, this is for medical professionals and other practitioners who are using a ketogenic diet with patients. Module 4 talks about all the disorders of insulin regulation. So they talk about the physiological role of insulin. And interestingly, In medical school, a lot of the MDs that I've talked to on my podcast over the years, a lot of the MDs did not get any kind of education as to the role of nutrition on insulin and on health. And so all of these disorders of insulin regulation are diseases that doctors are dealing with today, and they have no education about keto. Now, this American Nutrition Association certification in ketogenic diets, the training program that they're offering, is going to help them and their patients that deal with type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, obesity, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, gout, PCOS, men's health. That's all they listed, but there's a whole lot more that they could be teaching in that module. Then module 5, they look at cancer specifically, a case for using the ketogenic diet for cancer treatment. So they look at the historical view of cancer, the cancer origin theories, cancer treatment options, a cancer-specific diet, current knowledge of ketogenic diets as it relates to cancer, which is evolving. In fact, just today, Good Morning America did a whole story this morning all about cancer. And on there, they poo-pooed people eating red meat as part of a cancer diet. So Christine just said a word you heard in the background. You might have heard. So, and then finally, diet formulation and special considerations. And then finally, the 6th module in the advanced ketogenic training course, neurological conditions. So they talk about the neuron structure and function, brain energy metabolism. People don't think about their brain having a metabolism, but it does. It does. Epilepsy, obviously, is the one we've known about the longest. But they also talk about MS, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, traumatic brain injury, TBI, ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, migraines, and then any obstacles to healthy neurological function. So guys, that is the module, the 6 modules that you would get if you go through that advanced training. So, who is eligible to go through this program? So if you just do the first 2 modules, it's called the Foundational Ketogenic Nutrition. Who is eligible? Health coaches. So if you're a keto coach and you want to kind of expand your knowledge a bit, you can go through this. If you're a nutritionist, you can go through this. And any healthcare practitioner. It takes about 20 to 24 hours of class time, and you basically complete the 2 modules. The only bad thing about that foundational one is it does not qualify for those letters CKNS, Certified Ketogenic Nutrition Specialist, I think is what that stood for. But if you go through the advanced course, who's eligible to do that? Anybody that is a nutritionist and a licensed healthcare practitioner with nutrition and legal scope of practice. So Christine, I think you as a nutritional therapy practitioner would be eligible because you do have letters after your name. So you could add this CKNS after your name. And if you go through all 6 modules, it's 60 to 72 hours worth of education. You complete all 6 modules, and at the end of it, you take the test to get those letters CKNS. So we might see Christine Moore, NTP, CKNS after your name if you go through this program. So here are the education requirements. The candidate must meet the following criteria. You have to either A, have a Master's of Science degree in the field of nutrition or dietetics from a United States regionally accredited college or university or its foreign equivalent, or 2, doctoral degree in nutrition, dietetics, related health science, or medicine from a United States regionally accredited college or university or foreign equivalent. C, or 3, certified nutrition specialist, CNS, or registered dietitian, RDN, or licensed certified nutritionist, dietitian, LDN, CDN, or 4, a healthcare practitioner within the United States with nutrition and legal scope of practice. So if you're an MD, a DO, a DC, an ND, an MP, a PA, an RN, a PharmD, or a doctor of nursing or foreign equivalent. I did not see NTP on there. I guess we could call and find out for you, Christine.
Yeah.
Or you've completed all 6 modules of the American Nutrition Association Certified Ketogenic Nutrition Specialist training course. So that's funny. I guess if you complete the course, you qualified. That's to get the CKNS. So basically go through the 6 modules and you can get these letters after your name if you want them. The candidate must achieve a passing score on the certification examination for ketogenic nutrition specialists. It's offered twice a year. The exam is held online. The certification examination for ketogenic nutrition specialist is designed to test the knowledge and skills acquired by those who have successfully completed the educational requirements outlined above. Again, I would love to take that test without going through this course just to see how much I know. Now, obviously, I know I would learn a lot going through these modules, but how much do I know now? That would be really fascinating. The examination has 60 multiple choice single answer questions and will cover topics as outlined below. And then they go through the various modules, once again, showing you, and they're weighting them different ways. So the historical stuff, 10%, how to formulate a plan, 25%, assessment, implementation, and monitoring, another 25%. So half of the test is those two, module 2 and module 3. The disorders, 15%, the cancer, 10%, and the neurological conditions, 15%. So guys, this is huge. This is really, really big news. And I had to share this with you today. Hat tip to Nina Teicholz, who brought this to my attention. And I said, oh, I have so got to rant about this because, guys, this is not chump change. The American Nutrition Association is a big, big organization in the world of nutritional health. And if they're offering this ketogenic nutrition training program, they see validity in keto. And it's kind of fascinating to me because we have all of this negativity that still persists about keto in the mainstream, and they're trying to make it look like it's this extreme, horrible thing. And yet, if the ANA is putting their good name behind trying to train medical and nutrition specialists on keto, they see value and validity in it. That should tell you something. That should tell you a lot of this stuff you're seeing in the mainstream of the media out there is just smoke and mirrors. This is taking hold. This is great news. And I hope that you're seeing it for that. So the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants is the American Nutrition Association, the ANA, has introduced a novel new keto training program, and it's going to be impacting the lives of patients, maybe you, for many years to come. All right, let's see what you guys have to say over here on Instagram Live. We'll be over here to Facebook here in just a moment. Welcome in, welcome in. Keto Gramp says, so glad to hear you today. Well, I'm glad to be here. Been an interesting last 24 hours, but yeah, we're happy to be here. Medusa says, this is great news. It really is great news. Bonnie says, wow. Yeah, wow indeed, Bonnie. Kitty Caddick says, hope is always there. It's given me new hope, Kat. I've watched this community for a long time, and I did not think something like this would happen. Hello, Alterna Sweets. Thanks for being here. KD, ketogenic diet. That's what that stands for. Thank you, Medusa. Gunch's mom, mind reader, talking about, I know you're skeptical. Yes. See, I know what you're thinking. I've done this long enough. My spidey senses help me out there. Which states will participate? So I didn't see any limitations on any states that would not allow it. So right now, it should be open to all 50 states in the U.S. What's up, LC Foods Company? Thanks for being here. Kat says, I'm curious too how I can do on that test without the course, medical school, plus what I've learned through the years, plus my 2 decades of low carb and a decade of experience in keto. Kat, I think you would ace it, my friend. You really would. All right, let's come over here to Facebook Live. Thank you guys for being here today on Jimmy Rants Simulcast. See what you guys have to say about this news of a ketogenic course. Chris says the ball just keeps rolling faster. Yes. Caroline says, thanks for all your work. Thank you. Thank you for watching, giving me a reason to do the work. Kristen says, it's about time. I know, right? I know, right? Christy says, wow. You'd pass with flying colors, says Lois. Hey, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there are nuances to ketogenic metabolism that maybe I haven't learned yet. I've tried to self-educate myself. When I wrote Keto Clarity, all of that was self-education. I really didn't have any formal training in keto, but I did know how to read science and translate science into everyday language, which it sounds like that's what they're trying to do with this course for the medical professionals. Oh, but I thought it was just the next new diet. Just kidding. Keto is amazing, says Kristen. Yeah. I love Amy Berger. Yeah, she's pretty awesome, isn't she? Triona, yay, finally caught you live. Just wanted to say hello and thank you for all you're doing. I'm loving my keto now. Much love from Ireland. Oh, we've got to get back to Ireland, don't we, Chris?
Yes.
I bet you can challenge the course and ace it with an A+, says Maria. It's a step in the right direction. Keto is here to stay, not a fad. And that's the thing that's giving me a lot of encouragement today about this, Maria, is keto in the mainstream of the media out there is continuing to be identified as a fad. And very clearly, this is proof positive that it's not a fad. This is proof positive that the people at the American Nutrition Association, I would love to know who made this happen. Because if they got all the creme de la creme in the keto world helping advise them on this course, somebody there saw the value in it. Somebody there said, this ain't a here today, gone tomorrow thing. And see, here's the dirty little secret too that a lot of people don't realize. Yes, keto got really hot in the mainstream of health over the past, few years, but keto in the research realm has been extremely hot since the early 2000s. And it's never let up. In the research world, keto has been one of the hottest things behind the scenes. And so if it's been that hot behind the scenes, it doesn't always percolate to the mainstream of our culture. It has happened to over the past few years, but even after this wave of keto tends to die down in our culture, we're still going to see reverberations of this in the science. And here's the funny thing too, with it being so hot in the culture, we're actually having a lot more people being interested in researching it. So the research is going to continue to grow in the coming years with ketogenic diets. I wonder if this applies to IIN credentials too. Serena, I don't know. I basically read you everything of the materials that I had on this. So honestly, I don't know, but definitely reach out to the American Nutrition Association. Just Google American Nutrition Association. You should find their website. Jennifer says, awesome news. It is. It really is. Kay says, change is in the air. Absolutely. I'm anxious to hear what they consider ketogenic. Yeah, it looks pretty legit, Kay. What do you get for the first course for non-professionals? What do you get for the first course for non-professionals? Ken, so I think you just get an attaboy, way to learn. It's more just education more than anything. But this is great. I think anything that puts keto in a positive light, and the American Nutrition Association offering a training program on ketogenic diets is nothing, you guys, but a positive. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, you can engage live in this content. You got to go follow me, though, over here on Instagram Live. I'm at Living Low Carb Man, LIVIN, Once you're there, you can engage live. You also can engage live in the simulcast over here on Facebook Live. Thank you guys for being here, and stick around for the Jimmy Rants after party here in just a moment. If you missed the live on Instagram, we do keep it up for 24 hours there. After 24 hours, it does disappear. Be sure to pop on over to YouTube, see all the past episodes of this show on YouTube. Type in a keyword, Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show are in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at jimmyrants.com. So until next time, Instagram Live, we'll see you then.